Hello, everyone. My name is Juzer, and I'm a senior cloud architect at Royal Cyber. Welcome to today's session on modernizing legacy systems by embracing AWS Serverless Architecture. I'm excited to share how moving from legacy systems to a serverless model can dramatically simplify operations while driving agility and cost savings. Today we'll cover practical strategies and real-world examples that show you how to take full advantage of AWS serverless solutions. Now, before we dive in, let me introduce Royal Cyber. For over 20 years, we've been transforming businesses through IT consulting and digital innovation. With a global team of over 2,000 associates and 500 certified consultants across 5 continents, our expertise has empowered more than 600 clients to date. Our accolades and technology partnerships speak to our commitment and proven track record in delivering cutting-edge technology solutions. So a little bit about the speakers for today's session. I'm Juzer, as I mentioned. I am a senior infrastructure architect at Royal Cyber. I'll be taking you through the first half of this webinar, and we'll talk about modernization, the need for it, and how a serverless platform can help in this regard. And my colleague Faisal Usman, who's the practice lead at Royal Cyber for AWS services, will be walking through some case studies and some success stories uh, for some of our clients that we have worked with. So let's dive in. So here's what we'll cover today. We'll begin by exploring the current market trends and the opportunities that they present. We'll then move on to understand the challenges posed by legacy systems and discuss the business requirements driving modernization. I'll also share some insights into our AWS practice, detail the modernization journey through proven pathways, and dive into serverless architecture, the real-world case study. Finally, we'll review Royal Cyber's modernization solutions and accelerator programs before opening the floor for questions. So let's get started. Let's talk about some market trends. As digital transformation accelerates, a new normal is emerging in the business world, right? Now, 79% of CEOs feel pressured by their boards to drive their digital business initiatives, and 47% of business leaders recognize that rapid digitization is essential to stay competitive. And these stats are coming from Gartner. In addition, Gartner is projecting that $426 billion will be spent on application services this year, and IDC is highlighting that 64% of organizations now view application modernization as their top priority. So the message is pretty clear, right? Like modernization or modernizing your applications isn't just optional, it's a necessity for growth. So in this fast evolving market, IT must be agile and innovative. Modern architectures are modular, they support faster release cycles, reduce risk by breaking down applications into smaller and manageable units. And on the flip side, many organizations still struggle with the rigidity of legacy systems, which tends to slow down innovation and create bottlenecks. So embracing a serverless and modular architecture not only streamlines development, but also empowers you to respond to market changes with an unprecedented speed. So let's talk a little bit more about legacy applications. Now, many of these systems that have been running over the years are built on monolithic code bases with tight coupling, where a small change can ripple through the entire system, causing maintenance challenges, unforeseen side effects, and all the such, right? So these issues basically tend to lead to slower product innovation and increased time to market. So the heavy lifting in data management and operational overhead related to these applications often prevents teams from focusing on what truly matters, right? Which is innovation and growth. So, so there's the business challenges are continually evolving, right? So you're navigating new domains, and there's always a competitive landscape. So business leaders they want to focus on innovation, and this is driving all these cloud conversations, right? So, but as a business leader, you're a specialist in a particular industry, and you might be very focused on the business that you're operating, right? But you might not necessarily know how to navigate the complexity of all the security, the compliance, and the resilience that it takes to build an application in a new technical environment. So navigating this territory could be pretty challenging, right? So as Royal Cyber, we are proud to be an AWS Advanced Tier partner. Our extensive experience was backed by over 100 AWS projects spanning more than 10 industry verticals. Like I mentioned, we have dedicated teams across all these different technologies, and we have over 80 AWS consultants and 40 specialized certifications covering cloud, DevOps, security, AI, and machine learning. So we tend to bring a holistic approach to your modernization journey, right? So our proven methodologies ensure that your migration to AWS is seamless, secure, and strategically aligned with your business goals. So let's talk about modernization. So whenever we're talking about modernization, right? So it is an integral part of any migration journey. And AWS categorizes these strategies into the well-known 7 Rs, right? The retire, retain, rehost, replatform, refactor, re-architect, and rebuild, right? So each of these approaches addresses different aspects of your applications, right? It's like from eliminating outdated components to completely redesigning them for the cloud, right? So by you have to carefully evaluate your applications against these strategies, right? So and by doing so, you can basically chart a precise roadmap that aligns with both your technical and business objectives, right? And in this case, when we're talking about modernization, we're primarily focusing on these 2 Rs, the re-platform and refactor. Rs, where re-platforming focuses on improving the cost efficiency and scalability by leveraging cloud-native features like managed databases or containers. It's a step up from the lift and shift migrations, basically, right? And then there's refactoring, right? So which is a complete transformation. And this is where applications are re-architected to take full advantage of cloud native benefits such as serverless computing, microservices, and DevOps practices. So modern applications are defined by their ability to scale, perform, and adapt in real time. They need to cater to millions of users, improve your return on investment while reducing your cost of ownership, and enabling your developers to innovate faster. They also need to be globally available at times and also need to handle petabytes of data at times. So these modern architectures aren't just about technology, right? They're about creating a competitive edge. And when you modernize, you're not just updating your systems. You're setting the stage for sustainable, agile business growth. So let's discuss the building blocks of modern computing on AWS for building serverless applications, right? So there's AWS Lambda, which offers event-driven serverless compute, which automatically scales with your workload. And complementing this are the container orchestration services like Amazon ECS and EKS, which provide fully managed environments for running containerized applications. These services enable you to deploy faster and scale effortlessly. So this basically helps you maintain a resilient infrastructure, all without the burden of managing underlying servers. Serverless computing, right? So what is it? It basically redefines how we deploy and manage applications. It removes the need for infrastructure provisioning and ongoing management, and thus allowing you to focus solely on your code and business logic. Imagine a scenario where you no longer have to worry about scaling or patching servers because AWS handles all of that for you. That's the essence of serverless. It's about efficiency, agility, and letting your innovation shine without the operational overhead. But it's not just about computing power. It's basically a paradigm that brings the greatest agility with the least effort, right? With these serverless architectures, you can achieve faster time to market and enhance scalability, all while keeping operational complexity to a minimum. It's basically a shift that empowers teams to develop, deploy, and iterate at lightning speed while fundamentally changing the way that we approach application development. Now, I'd like to give a little preview of some of the case studies uh, related to our customers that we have helped build serverless applications. Uh, we have helped them migrate off of legacy architectures to serverless-based architectures, and the results were nothing short of impressive. By shifting basically to an AWS Lambda-based serverless architecture, aided by the Royal Cyber Accelerator program, these clients reduced their overall compute costs by up to 75%, and the deployment times also shrank from like 60 minutes to just 10 seconds in some cases. In the meantime, the recovery metrics also dropped dramatically from hours to minutes. These metrics basically underscore how serverless solutions can significantly lower costs and reduce downtime and deliver tangible business benefits. Now let's dive deep into some of these case studies and look into the architectures and see how we modernize all these legacy applications for our customers into modern serverless based architectures. And I'd like to invite my colleague Faisal to take you through the rest of the webinar. Faisal?
All right. Thank you so much, Juzer, for a very insightful session. My name is Faisal Usman, and I'm the practice lead for AWS at Royal Cyber. I will take over from here and walk you through the key aspects of one case study that includes modernizing customers' monolith application and how AWS serverless architecture helped them achieving scalability, agility, and cost efficiency. This case study focuses on financial services company that was facing challenges with their AIM application. Their legacy system had several issues, including scalability limitations, high operational cost, and performance bottlenecks. To address these challenges, we implemented a modernized cloud native architecture on AWS, leveraging serverless and managed AWS services. So before modernization, the AIM application was running on the traditional architecture that relied heavily on autoscaling EC2 instances. So the architecture flow was in a way that user accessing the system through an application load balancer, which then routed traffic to the front and back end services running on EC2 instances with autoscaling to handle varying workload. Amazon RDS as a primary database managing all structured data. Uh, this AIM application faced several key challenges that impacted both performances and operational efficiency. So let's go through them one by one, starting with the performance bottlenecks. The system experienced high latency during peak usage, leading to a poor user experience. The infrastructure struggled to efficiently handle spikes in traffic, causing delays and low response times. This monolithic architecture made it difficult to scale individual components effectively. Since front-end and back-end services were tightly coupled, scaling required provisioning entire instances instead of just of the necessary components. This led to inefficiencies in resource utilization and prevented agile scaling during demand fluctuations. The application relied on EC2 auto scaling, which often led to over provisioning of the resources, and this also unnecessary compute allocation increased cost. And there is very inefficient error handling process. There was no such debugging and resolving issues where a related system was present, and it was time consuming due to lack of the centralized monitoring. Troubleshooting involving manual intervention, which led to longer mean to time recovery, and thereby it impacted business continuity. And this is what our customers faced for quite a long time. So these challenges highlighted the urgent need for modernization. And to overcome these issues, we implemented a serverless event-driven architecture that optimized cost, performance, and scalability. So let's explore that new solution we have. So this is a solution, fully serverless event-driven architecture on AWS, completely modernized, which totally eliminates the infrastructure management overhead, obviously optimize the performance and significantly reduce operational cost. Let's go through key components of this architecture one by one, starting with the event-driven workflow. The entire processing pipeline is built using AWS Lambda functions, making it highly scalable and cost efficient. Lambda functions handle various business logic operations, including CSV validations, processing records in batches, managing account feedbacks and other API resources. API gateways serve as an entry point for external applications, ensuring secure and scalable API. And obviously, it also eliminates the need for the EC2 based API hosting. Asynchronous processing with SQS, Amazon SQS, and step functions ensured complete decoupling of the application and reliable event-driven processing. Step function is very useful, especially to orchestrate complex workflows. So here it improves the complete operational efficiency of the CSV files with the large amount of records in that file, and without any performance degradation. In terms of the database, the selection of DynamoDB helped us offer a seamless scalability, very low latency data access, and obviously it comes with automatic backups and failover capabilities. So to successfully modernize the AIM application, we leveraged a set of AWS native services across three areas. Cloud native, from cloud native, we used AWS Lambda, Event Bridge, Step Functions, AWS AppSync, Amazon SQS, and Amazon API Gateway. Then we have DynamoDB from the managed data. And from the DevOps, we use a complete set of tools available on AWS, AWS Code Build, Code Deploy, Code Pipeline, Cloud Formation for the infrastructure code, and very important, to be really honest, Amazon Inspector. This has become very important and kind of a foundation block for our AWS practices in Royal Cyber. Uh, Amazon Inspector conducts automated security assessments to detect vulnerabilities for all the deployments that we have to make sure our infrastructure is compliant. And moving on towards security measures, is a critical aspect of any modernization initiative. As we transition the AIM application to a serverless cloud native architecture, we implemented several security practices to ensure data protection, compliance, and robust access control. And in terms of the security measures we implemented fine-grained IAM rules and policies to enforce the principles of least privilege. AWS IAM rules and policies ensures that services and users have access only to the resources they need. MFA was enabled for all the critical access points to enhance security. And then we have a data encryption and with the AWS key management services, and TLS was applied to secure data transmission between the services. And from the network security point of view, all the backend services were deployed into a private subnet within a VPC, thereby restricting the complete direct internet access. And AWS security groups and network ACLs were configured to control inbound and outbound traffic. We used AWS Web Application Firewall integration, which is being used to protect against web-based attacks like SQL injections, cross-site scripting. And then we have a CloudFront that was leveraged for DDoS protection and ensuring secure and latency access to the web applications. So moving on towards the monitoring framework that we have implemented, and it is part of our practice at Royal Cyber to ensure to implement a complete monitoring framework for our all the solutions to ensure system reliability, performance, and quick issue resolution. We have some thresholds for for all these metrics, starting with the invocation error. It will trigger the alert if errors exceed 3% over 5 minutes. And in terms of errors, if it measures the failed Lambda function execution due to maybe, and the failed Lambda function execution may be due to misconfigurations, timeout issues, or permission errors, maybe. And then we have a latency. It tracks response time for API gateway and backend services. So if it is more than 300 milliseconds, it will going to trigger the alarm. And then we have throttles. If we have a concurrency issue at the Lambda function executions, it helps up. So it monitors that rate and then help optimize resources allocations to avoid performance degradation. And then we have a debt letter queue. It is very helpful to make sure that no data is being lost, and also helps with the investigation as well. And if there is a DLQ message more than 10 in the queue, it means that there are 10 messages that are not properly being processed. So it also alert us that there's something needs to be investigated here. And so this is about monitoring framework. And with the modernization of AIM application, we achieved outstanding reduction. We achieved a 69% reduction in the operational cost. Uh, at the same time, we improved scalability, security, and system reliability. So this transformation actually demonstrates the power of modernization in reducing infrastructure cost while increasing business agility. So now let's conclude with the key outcomes and benefits this modernization delivered to our customer. So these are the performance metrics or improvements achieved after modernizing the AIM application. Um, Starting with the latency reduction, we have improved the application with a 62.5 reduction in the latency, a massive improvement in terms of the application performance. And then we have a throughput, we have a 233% increase in the throughput. Now with the modernized architecture, the application can manage 100 requests per second, makes it highly scalable. And and then with the cost reduction, we have a 69% cost reduction, which is quite significant. And it is due to the serverless computing and pay-as-you-go pricing. And then we have with the error rate reduction of 80%, it reduced the error rate from under 1%, and which actually shows that the system is quite stable and very fewer failed transactions and better reliability. And then we have a mean time to recovery. Usually the team on average takes around 2 hours to understand and resolve the incident. Now within the 15 minutes, with all the investigations available at the developer or the cloud engineer on hand, and it will just implement the fix. And we also provide the operational runbook to our teams to get the references if in case of some of the exceptions happen at the infrastructure. And then, as we conclude this case study, let me summarize the key benchmarks that highlight the impact of our modernization journey. 69% reduction in infrastructure, error rate below 1%, ensuring high availability, and deployment time with the modernized DevOps reduced to the 10 seconds with zero downtime. Serverless architecture on AWS, which is itself highly scalable and secured. So this transformation showcases how businesses can achieve cost savings, high availability, faster deployments, and better security by adopting AWS serverless architecture. So next, let's wrap up with why Royal Cyber is the ideal modernization partner for organizations for you looking to accelerate their cloud journey. We have four offerings. Available for our customers that will help them accelerate their AWS journey. Starting with the professional services, and we provide end-to-end application modernization, refactoring, re-architecting legacy applications for AWS. Cloud native services development using serverless, microservices, and containerization, database modernization. And then we have a very cool service available at our end, and it is one we are providing to our customer, which is rapid deployment or RC AWS Next Gen Modernization Accelerator, which provides pre-built, secure, and scalable AWS environments with the pre-configured security, observability, and automation templates to kickstart cloud adoption. And it is specially designed for the business that needs a fast-track AWS setup with best practices. And then we have a RC AWS Jumpstart. It's a lightweight engagement for quick POCs, assessments, and demos. It basically helps customers evaluate AWS services, experiment with serverless, and validate their business use cases. Short-term engagement with clear outcomes, enabling faster decision making. And then we have managed services to help you support with the ongoing cloud and DevOps support. So this is about the accelerator. I'll quickly go through it. As I mentioned, it accelerates AWS adoption and streamline the complete modernization. It set up a complete AWS environment with a pre-built, secure, and scalable templates to fast track the cloud transformation with automation and best practices. With AWS Next Gen Modernization Accelerator, professional services we have, as I mentioned, and then we have managed services for ongoing cloud and DevOps support. So if you have any questions related to our services, you can reach out to us. And then to conclude, why you involve Royal Cyber as a modernization partner. At Royal Cyber, we don't just migrate workloads to AWS. We enable businesses to achieve real digital transformation by modernizing applications for agility, scalability, and efficiency. And throughout these sessions, we have covered key aspects of modernization, AWS adoption, and how Royal Cyber can help accelerate this journey. And basically, with our experiences with our customer, there are some common questions that we often hear and we provide answers to them. These are some high-level questions like how can I move my workloads to the cloud? How can I modernize my app? Or how do we get consistent tooling and governance? Or how do I give my developers a self-service platform? Or should I pick containers or serverless? So if you have any questions related to it or specific questions about your modernization journey, feel free to ask now or reach out to us after the session. So we have a team for available at your pool. Juzer, our product manager and senior solutions architect, myself as a practice lead, and then we have Imran, who is a digital transformation leader and who is doing an awesome work for our customers, providing a digital transformation roadmap to them. And then we have Sunny, who helps you with the right digital transformation plan and implementation process. So reach out to us if you would like to discuss more about the modernization. If you have any queries about your own about your applications or AWS infrastructure, and you have any plans about modernizing it. So thank you so much, and let's have some questions here.